And just so you know, we're recording. So language barrier does sort of go on now. Just be careful with what you say. Even though I swear shitloads. But anyway, I'm Ace Funhouse. I'm joined by Bot Jisso. What? Did I say that right? Yeah. You want to say hi a little bit lower? I mean higher, sorry? Yeah.
Hi.
There you go.
Hi.
Yeah, that's him. He's a stoner, so if you hear a bong rip going off, then there you go. You know. But you know, I haven't uploaded a podcast in fuck knows how long. But we're still going to be playing League, even though I tried getting away from the whole I don't want to play games while thing because we get caught up more in the game. But this guy doesn't pay attention half the fucking time, so he's pretty good to get content from. Today's topic will be about game development. So we just had this chat idea from League of Runeterra and Hearthstone because they're somewhat alike. So would you like to explain what Riot's doing with developing games? Because I'm not 100% aware.
Essentially, I believe that Riot Games are branching out with development in other games as I specified out of the podcast. So we were talking about Legends of Runeterra, the project, I think it's Project L, that's the fighting game that Riot is developing, and Project A, which is their FPS. Sort of in line other games like CS and Overwatch and whatnot. But yeah.
Yeah. So
what did you want me to talk about in particular?
Well, do you feel like they're trying to, rip off certain games such as like CS:GO or, just like you said that they're branching off and it's sort of like Overwatch and CS? Do you reckon they've gotten ideas from there or?
I definitely think that they've taken influence from other markets and stuff like that. With developing how Legends of Runeterra is very much like Hearthstone, or other games like Magic the Gathering or other older battle card games that exist. But I don't feel like they're necessarily trying to rip off other developers or to infringe on their sale. I believe it's more they're trying to broaden their market and trying to bring other people into the MOBA scene, or into for people to learn about the world of Runeterra, which is what League of Legends is all about.
Yeah. So, in saying all this, a lot of people spend money on League, such as myself. I am fairly well known. I've spent over $2,000 on this game because, yay. Do you feel like this is just another way that they're gonna use to make money, or what do you reckon their main goal is here?
I think their main goal is to increase their market and to increase the amount of people that they're bringing into LoL and
Oh, yeah, for all the people that don't play League of Legends, LoL means League of Legends. Just gonna add that.
But yeah, I think they're just trying to broaden their market, and I don't think it's got much to do with
no worries.
I don't think it's got much to do with a capitalistic agenda. It's more just got to do with they're trying to broaden their market.
Right.
Trying to appeal to more people than people that are just into strategy games, which is what MOBAs originate from.
Right. Do you reckon they're going to improve these games? Do you reckon that in saying that they're creating games like Overwatch and not that it is a complete rip-off, not that it is. Do you reckon that it's going to attract a little bit more attention from that general category. So like a lot of CS:GO players will come over and play the new League of Legends game. You reckon that'll?
I think it'll appeal a lot of people because ultimately Riot's quality, like they tend to have really good high quality with what they do. They don't, they bug fixes, hacking. They're in terms of other game companies out there, they are the best in terms of quality. Like no one does it really better. Like over the years, there's been hundreds and hundreds of bad updates for CS that have ruined the game or changed the meta game in a way that. And I feel like Riot has like they have a really high sense of pride for quality. They like to deliver something that people feel like is not only a fair game but it is constantly updated and is cared about by the developer. Whereas CS, the update schedules are far and few between. There's operations happen every two years now versus when CS first came out. There was something new happening every week, which just doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah. In my personal...
Same with Overwatch. Bad, but like Overwatch as well. Constantly bad updates and trying to fix things that have killed the game. Like they've added role queue in a game where there's 16 heroes, and now they want to limit the amount of heroes that you can use every week. And it's like, what's the point of that when you've got like 24 heroes in a roster and then you're going to make it like a one meta comp for a week? Like, it just that doesn't seem logical to me. It doesn't seem like it's just going to be dumbed down over and over again. And I feel like lowering the skill window in games doesn't appeal to a lot of competitive gamers. People that want to succeed, want to do better, want to understand the mechanics in the game, and it's not just I'm gonna press WASD and point here and click and they're dead. Like
yeah.
People want something that's a little bit more involved, but something that they're not gonna like limit once because like it's like one example would be like Karthus. Karthus can be really bad, but if you're really good at Karthus, you're gonna 1v9.
Yeah.
Like having that sort of ability in a game creates special moments or just having a high skill cap is good, not bad, in my opinion. And I feel like a lot of game developers try to dumb down games to appeal to a larger masses. Whereas I feel like Riot would, be able to appeal to casual players, but at the same time still keep that skill gap there high, and not mess with it, because that's what people love about games and competitive games in general. That it is hard, not that it is easy.
Yeah, in my personal opinion, I reckon League could probably, Riot, sorry, not League per se. I reckon Riot could actually do a lot of games, like they could rework a lot of games like Fortnite and make it their own. Because just like you said, like they've changed everything. So like even in Fortnite, they've changed a lot of stuff. And in my personal opinion, a lot of the stuff that they've added and removed, it's been kind of counterintuitive with some stuff, because they're like saying, oh yeah, we're trying to make the game better, but in them doing that, they just release something that's completely dumb and it doesn't make any sense to the whole thing. And Riot, yeah, they've got a couple of dumb things going on, but it's not like an over-dramatic amount, because they're easy fixes. Just ban the champion if you don't like versing them.
Yeah.
And, but, like you said, Overwatch has just, completely ignored that, and they've just sort of made it so you have to play these select few things, and that's probably what's gonna kill them in the end, is the fact that players can't play what they're comfortable with. You know, they're being forced into playing uncomfortably,
Yeah.
and you know.
100%, 100% having to learn new things, and like, you know, what if someone's like a one trick at a game, you know? Like, what if they made it so that, like, you couldn't, like, for me, like, I can play MF, Vayne, or fucking, Jhin, right? Which are really the only three heroes in this game that I know how to play, right? If they took those three heroes away from me, like, the game wouldn't be fun to me anymore, like, because I'd have to, it's like starting again.
Yeah,
It's like me going back to CS, or like Valve messing with the ranking system in CS, so making it impossible to level up. You gotta play 40 games, you gotta win 40 games in a row to get from MG to DMG to get into that top tier bracket, and that's that's just limiting who in that sort of position. Someone that has the time to sink into a game, you know, shit like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just one problem with CS. Not to mention how they've messed with how the actual mechanics in the game work from when I first started playing it back in 2006. Like, you know, it's a completely different game to when I first started playing. Like, I can still log into old video games and still play like I did when I was 15, because they weren't messed with, you know?
Yeah. I feel like that's really where a lot of the Call of Duty games went good, is a lot of them didn't, you know, they didn't mess with that. So like Black Ops 2, that was stuck to the, you know, the sort of Black Ops 2 genre.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
and
I guess you could say that as well. But like,
Yeah.
at the same time with that, you know, from a competitive sense, I didn't like Call of Duty after COD.
I didn't like it after Black Ops 3.
After Black Ops 1.
You didn't like it after Black Ops 1?
Yeah, I've been playing since Call of Duty 2.
Damn. I began not liking Call of Duty when they released Black Ops 3, because, you know, I felt like, you know, so many people actually enjoyed it when there was no jetpacks, and, you know,
Yeah.
it was limited to that, you know, you couldn't do certain things. Yeah. So they were closing down the 360, right? But then they ended up making Black Ops 2 backwards compatible, because they knew that's where a lot of their players came from, was Black Ops 2. And in my personal opinion, they absolutely fucking destroyed the game when they released jetpacks. Like, I pretty much stopped playing it because I realized that it's just going to become like every other game, you know? Like, I think their COD 4 was pretty much like a Fortnite-esque kind of game.
Well, see, I can make that argument because before CS, before Rocket League, before all these other games that I played, and I invested time and got to a higher rank and then quit. I was a General 5 in Halo 3. Like, when I was in 14 or 15 at the time. I sung every day after school. I'd come home, play Halo 3. I'd play Halo 3, Halo 2, whatever. Right? Like, I was a big Halo nut. And Halo Reach came out, and they just were making it like every other fucking game, you know? Bringing out, like, you could sprint, you could, you know, and I guess that's on the other end, you know? You were actually limited, in a sense, you know? You were limited with your movement, you were limited with your gunplay, and that gave character to the game. And then when they added other mechanics from another game to make it feel like Call of Duty, or make it feel like Battlefield or whatever, it took away anything special from the game.
Yeah.
And which is where I made the argument from with CS. You know, they took the movement skill gap out. You know, I can sit there and jump in a CSS game and keep 800 speed easier. You know, I'm practically like, you know, some people might even jokingly say I'm like Foon, but you know, when they took that out of the game, it took away one thing that made it harder for people, you know, or it took what was special away from the game. You know, like, you get what I mean when I say that?
Yeah.
Like, and they just made it like they either simplify it or overdo it. You know, add an insane amount of movement, and 9 times out of 10, game companies can't do it. And ultimately, with Riot, and where I was going with what I was saying, is that I feel like Riot will hit the nail on the coffin and understand what people actually really like in the game and keep it there, not just what the developer wants. You know, they actually. The one thing I'd say with Riot is they listen to the community.
Mildly.
You know, they're gamers in themselves. They're not just game devs.
Yeah. In my personal, like, when it comes to CS, like, I used to play CS. I used to play it heaps. Because, you know, I always thought, oh yeah, people have taken a liking to this game, maybe I will. I myself personally didn't like it. It's something that I couldn't get into, but I got straight into League. Alright. You know, in my opinion, it's just a game, and a lot of people don't, you know, understand that is, you know, they get really mad and, you know, they start yelling and shit. But the one thing that really annoyed me when I found out what League did, I mean, not League, sorry, CS did, is that they've made it so you have to pay so you don't have to play with hackers. And that when I heard that, I was like, what the fuck? You know, you're gonna kill a game faster than you fucking built it. And
yeah, but it's still insane that, like, you can make the argument that, you know, the people that own the game now aren't the original developers. You know, like, the people that own it now are big. Look, it's the big corporate Valve. Like, you know, the original owners and Fund 2, and all those guys that got taken up by Valve in the early days of Valve. They don't play a major role in the game now. It's not like it was 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Like that's something that people don't necessarily understand as well. That one point that I would have liked to elaborate on that you said is that you're not actually into it. Like it doesn't appeal to you. That doesn't surprise me. You know, like I'm what, almost 6-7 years older than you. Like I grew up, like, my first computer was a Windows 2000 computer. You know, like I grew up in the early days of computers. Like transferring over from giant computers in a room to personal computers at home. And that was one thing back then. You know, CS was the pinnacle back then. And so a lot of other people, they probably can't understand that because, you know, they might have grown up in the generation of Call of Duty 2, 3, 4, where, like, you know, the really late, the late part of the early stage of 3D graphics. And so, you know, like, I remember, like, a couple of the first games I played was like Half-Life 1, and if you go look at it now, you could probably recreate it in an MS Paint. You know, like, like it doesn't impress you. But for me, it's more nostalgic.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like that's what holds a lot more people, is that CS, Halo, even Call of Duty, for a sense, sticks with a lot of older people and sticks in that market simply because it's been around for so long, and developers try to do new things to a game to make it stick and to keep its appeal, but it doesn't always work. Like CS, for example, taking away the skill gap and whatnot. Like, is to appeal to a new mass, is to try and get new people into it, and it worked for CS:GO. But at the same time, I feel like what they've done to change gunplay and to change how things at a core level worked for 10 years, which was systematic in every game, like the way money systems worked and how pistols worked and all that sort of stuff, and they've completely revamped everything when it didn't need to be. Like, it was right the way it was. It appealed to people because it was the way it was, and because they've reverted it, and now no longer it appeals to a lot of people, and a lot of older people. And it's why a lot of people in my age don't play CS anymore, because they're not interested in it. It's all worth their fucking time. No one has enough effort to sit there and play for like 3 days worth of time with 40 games in a row just to get back to some stupid rank that's not going to mean anything, because they're not going to be able to find a game in half an hour to an hour, you know? Like stuff like that. And I feel like Riot understands all those things, and with Project A, they will blow the water up. They'll blow Valve out of the water. They'll kill their market. They'll kill Overwatch. I mean, Overwatch is already dead, but that.
It's already a dead game, so it doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't matter, but honestly, bro, I try to play it like if I want to play a DPS hero and not a tank or a healer, I've got to wait for half an hour and find a game.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember playing Overwatch on the Xbox One when the Xbox One, first sort of came out. And I remember playing it for the first time ever, and it was like on a free release. It's like, oh yeah, it's free for these next couple of days. Fucking come try it out. I was like, oh yeah, cool, this is mint. And I actually enjoyed the game. And then I went back to play it because my mate was like, always like, oh yeah, fucking get the game, it's so good. I play it all the time. And I was like, yeah, in my personal opinion, I don't really like Overwatch because, yeah, I thought it was good when it first came out, right? But it being good when it first comes out is completely different to now. Like, when League of Legends first came out, not when it first came out, like, I only played about 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah.
But
I started
I found it hard because it was so long and enduring. And Overwatch was sort of good back then. I remember when everyone would play. I remember you could find servers fucking easy,
Yeah.
But when I was playing on my mate's computer, he was like, "Oh yeah, it's fucking here. Just play while I'm in the shower." I was like, "Okay, cool." It took me, I shit you not, 10 minutes to find a game, right? And even at that, was that sorry?
Was this recently though? Like in the last?
Yeah, this is fairly recent. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because like, for the first 2 years of the development cycle, it was okay. Like, the admittingly, there was a lot of problems that happened in the game. Like, one example would be that there wasn't any sort of hero select. Like, you went into a game and you just play whatever the fuck you wanted, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you could, you were limited to a 2-2-2 role where you needed 2 tanks, 2 healers, and 2 DPS. And that's something that they did after 2 years to stop a lot of throwers and griefers and to make it fairer for everyone, but at the same time it took away a lot of special things that you could do. Like, at the time, the meta was to run 3 support and to run off meta comps. It wasn't to run 2-2-2, and they took any creativity that you could take away from the game and take away different abilities. Like, just like how in League, you can make 5 tank work, you can make a melee ADC work in the bot lane, like stuff like that. That made the game special or fun, they took away. And that's what I don't like. And a lot of games have done it. Rocket League did it even. When Rocket League first came out, because I've been playing since season 2. I am a real fucking original player since season 14 now. Like, I've been playing since day 1. It was a lot more. There was a lot higher skill gap. You could, like, the cars mattered in the game. Now they're just skins. They're not.
Yeah.
They're like before. Like, each car in Rocket League had a skill, had a hitbox, different hitbox. Sort of like how CSS's hitboxes were larger than what in Go. So you didn't actually have to be aiming at your target to hit it. Like, little stuff like that, right? So before, in the early days of Rocket League, there was like a meta. There was like 5 to 6 cars that you use, and the rest were really only good in certain situations. You would only use them against certain people, like if you knew they were going to be playing a certain car and that counted it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, like, there was that skill gap there, and now they've made it so there's only like I think 5 or 4.
Yeah, I think I was playing Rocket League around that time.
yeah, 4 or 5 different types of hitboxes in the game, which then once again limited your creativity, which
Yeah.
game developers shouldn't do. Like, it's taking skill out of the game, and and adding RNG elements, and that's okay if you're playing a casual game that's for fun. But when you're playing a game that really, if you're better than someone, you should be winning every game. Yeah, like, you know, that's how games should be. You know,
Yeah.
there shouldn't be limitations to what you can do. You know, you should be able to be creative, and developers shouldn't be restricted. That's how I feel.
Yeah. But I feel like that's going to be the reason why League of Legends is kind of going to be kind of like the game that you know that is going to thrive, because you know there's always going to be that skill gap. There isn't really going to be that little loss of something that, you know.
Yeah, but like, I guess you could say that with a lot of MOBAs. You know, you could say the same with Dota. You know, like.
Good job. Yeah, but there's something about League of Legends, like they're always, you know, I watched a couple of their videos, right? I never used to watch these videos on how games have developed, and you know, I all of a sudden took interest into it, and I actually learned about how they select their new skins or what champions they're going to rework. You know, they actually have a voting system. So when they said that they're, you know, listening to the community and, you know, they go for whatever's more popular, right? I all of a sudden grew a whole lot more respect for them because they did that. You know, when I first started playing League, I thought, oh yeah, they're not listening to their community at all. You know, they're just doing whatever they want, and it makes them feel, you know, as long as they're earning money, they don't give a fuck. But, you know, the second I realized that, wait a sec, they've got a voting system in this, you know, our opinions actually matter. You know, whether it comes to one vote being changed on if Veigar gets reworked, then, yeah, in my personal opinion, he should be reworked. Because he's ridiculously broken, and I don't know how I'm doing bad as him right now. Yeah.
But the thing is with Veigar is as well, like, if you don't know how to use his abilities, then he's fucking useless.
Yeah.
Like
a lot of people don't realize he can stack with his Q on his champions.
Yeah, like, see, I didn't even realize how he worked till recently, but I never really cared for this game at the same time. I was always more in the FPS, and now, as I've gotten older, I like strategy, because even in CS and almost FPS games, I always was a strategy guy. I wasn't necessarily always the highest KDA, best aim. I just knew where people were, and I knew what to do when, you know? And that's what I like.
Yeah.
Oh god. Sorry. Lux is gonna be mad at me.
Don't worry, it's only Lux.
But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm out of chat ideas, but I'm not gonna lie, I reckon this has been a great first podcast for you. Like, you seem to have like a lot of knowledge, like you're a really knowledgeable guy, you know, and
I try to be.
I don't care if fucking she's doing shit to you. Fucking die for all I give a shit. Yeah. So, I'm really interested to see how far Riot's going to go with these things, because I feel like they're great ideas. Like, they're absolutely going to knock it out of the park. But, you know, at the same time, I feel like they can fuck it up so easily as well.
They could, but at the same time, they have good track records, so...
Yeah.
If they keep the right same mindset and they do everything that they have, you know, like they have before, I think they will succeed.
Yeah, I've got 100% faith that they will succeed. There's no doubt about it. But the worst thing they could do is make pretty much an exact replica. You know, that'll sort of kill it.
They're not. But they're not.
Yeah. And
it's not like it's very in the middle, and then if I actually had examples to show you, then you'd understand. Like, you wouldn't have that opinion in your head, because it is very in between, because they're like, one example would be is like they've got a mechanic in the game where, you know, they've got reses like Mercy, but at the same time they've got like headshot mechanics on all heroes, just like in CS. So it's not like you know, Widow can kill everyone on the field in the game if you're good,
Yeah.
or like how, you know, it's a little bit different. It's not just a straight copy. They are being like creative in that sense, and to avoid copyright and whatnot, and
Oh
all
yeah,
that
that's
sort
a
of
thing
stuff,
nowadays.
and all that sort of thing. But you know, they're going into it with their own flavor. They're not just going into it with the mindset, oh, you know, we're just going to create like shovelware. You know, it's not shovelware.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
like I actually enjoy playing Legends of Runeterra, like over Hearthstone. Like I feel like the mechanics in the game aren't unfair. You know, there's not just one build that completely fucks everyone else, which is what.
Fucking my mouse died. Fucking me.
My mum needs me to go look at something. Do you mind? Just like pausing
Yeah.
or something.
Go for it, man. I'll try and find a way to keep things entertaining. Yeah, so while this guy's gone, you know, he's a pretty sick lad. But the whole reason behind me not doing my podcast as of late is actually to do with the fact that I've all of a sudden developed this social life that I never thought I had. I've been working on my jiu-jitsu slightly. I know that I did say that I wasn't going to let jiu-jitsu affect my streaming and streaming and recording, but I'm actually got a few competitions coming up. So I'm gonna have a few videos of my competing, as well as my older brother's even going to be competing as well. So that's going to be really exciting to happen. Is that we're going to try and make a day of it because he wants to start up a channel, and so there might actually be double the content coming out. Because this is a little sneak peek into what I've got planned. Is I've actually got another YouTube channel planned, right? But on this YouTube channel, it's going to be planned as a lot more. So I'm going to restrict gaming to this channel only, but more real life stuff such as, you know, cooking, you know, healthy dieting, all that kind of stuff is going to be on that channel. Once everything's fully developed, I'm going to leave a link in the description, but, you know, I've got real high hopes for what I've got planned to come. Hello, are you back?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was sort of just explaining on where I've been lately. Because I haven't uploaded... I said that I was going to do podcasts every Saturday, or record them every Saturday, upload them every Sunday. But I haven't done it for like the past 3 weeks. Really. So I was just sort of giving them, you know, an idea of where I've been. As well as that, work's been like, hey, you know what? Here's a fuck ton of shifts. You know, you don't deserve a social life.
Welcome to the real world. Man, I've just come out of that, like...
Oh, fuck me. My mouse is... Ugh. Although, this Mundo is just going off for no reason. But I feel like that is an actual great podcast. I think we might wrap it up now, because all I really wanted to do was just get, like, sort of a chat, you know, topic of, you know, what game developers can do right and what they can do wrong. Is there anything else you want to add?
Not really.
Like, do you reckon there's stuff that Riot can improve on, or?
I mean...
Because I know every game's going to have, like, a small default. Right.
Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, you know, everyone makes mistakes and stuff like that, but, like, you know, for the most part, it's like, you know, it's only the early days of Legends of Runeterra, it's only the early days, well, you know, the early days of all the other games as well, so, you know, saying stuff like that is, you know, really hard for me to say, but long term, I think Riot are gonna nail, like, you know, hit it out the park, and, or hit the nail on the coffin, and, they're going to do really well, because for one, they've got the right developers behind them, they've got the right map designers, and I feel like with the amount of effort that they put in the League of Legends, or Teamfight Tactics even, or any of these to appeal, like, you know, like one example would be Dota Underlords. Fucking sucked. And I feel like it sucked because they didn't listen to their community. They didn't. They had their mindset. They created what they wanted, and they did what they wanted as a developer. They didn't factor in what the community wanted, what their limitation was as a game company or whatever. You know, Valve very much are thinking about more distribution of games now versus development of games, and I feel like that shows in the quality of games like Dota 2, Dota 2, but that's what I mean, or Dota Underlords. Whereas Teamfight Tactics is more in line with what people like about League of Legends, which is that it's almost like a simplified version of the original Dota. Very much, in that sense. Like, it takes a lot of flavor from MOBA, or from Dota, or other MOBAs like HOR or something. It's like a Precurse or LoL, or like the next big MOBA after Dota was like some other game which I can't remember off the top of my head, but
it's one of them.
It's more in line with those sort of games, which is what appeals to more people. It's why old pros from Dota and people that were into those games are into Riot, because they listen to their community and other developers don't.
Yeah. Well, I think everyone would have realized that I've certainly talked a lot less in this video than I normally do, and that's because I'm less knowledgeable about this stuff, but I do have strong opinions about certain things. But in saying that, that will be my ending sentence to end the podcast, or will this, or will this, or will this. It's going to be one of these sentences. But, I hope everyone has a nice, lovely day, night, whatever fucking time of day it is. If you're a kid, don't swear. Go to school. I want to give a special thanks to good lad Botjisu for assisting me in this podcast, because all of a sudden my co-host is a prick and all of a sudden ditched me, because I made a simple request of not playing a game. But whatever. If he wants to come along, I'll see what he's doing. I'll see if I can get him into another podcast sometime. I'm going to try my best for that. But as I said, special thanks to Botjisu for joining me this podcast. It was great having you, my dude. Do you have I'll ask you if you've got any socials when we've left this, and I'll put them in the description. No, you don't?
I'm all good.
You're not interested in getting followers?
No.
Jeez.
Plus one for me.
You sounded immediately nervous the second I said that.
Yeah, no doxing for me, okay?
No doxing?
No doxing for me.
That's no worries at all.
Like, my name is Bodges on Steam. You can look me up. I'm a physician. I'll give you medical help. Whatever you need.
When he says medical help, it really means he'll sell you some weed. Yeah, no worries, man. Fucking anytime. I think I might try and get you in more often. You seem like a pretty cool guy. But leave a comment if you did like this guy, because he can be a dick at times, but just don't talk to him about him being bad at the game and you'll be fine. Yeah, but 100% leave a comment, tell me if you enjoyed this podcast and what you guys want to see, because I'm always more than happy to try and reach out to get more people's attention, by, if they want to, if they want to hear opinions about certain chat subjects. I'm going to try and get more people into podcasts. That's also something that I'm trying really hard for, is I want more people to join the podcast. So if you do want to be part of a podcast, be sure to join my Discord. Get notified whenever I upload, blah, 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 all that extra bullshit that no one really cares about. And yeah, just, feel free to, ping me or ping someone in the chat, ask how to get in contact with me. They'll probably leave my phone number because I'm pretty well known for entering people's streams and just dropping my phone number for no fucking reason. And I've regretted it. Like, I'm getting calls at 5 o'clock in the morning.
It'll happen when there's 12-year-old kids in the chat.
Yep. Anyway, thanks for watching. And, I don't really have a proper outro. Okay.